Well, welcome everyone to our March meeting. We'll go around and identify ourselves. Sandra Collins, virtual.
Colin Bober, virtual.
Shalisa Williams, virtual.
Wanda Gilbert Coco via phone.
Eric Colburn via phone.
Jeff Dillman, I'm from Legal Aid from North Carolina, virtual.
Demetrius Edwards, virtual with the Office of Equity and Inclusion.
Anastasia Torres with the Office of Equity and Inclusion, virtual.
Okay, thank you guys. Well, let me follow the order here. Again, welcome everybody. Thank everyone for getting on. I'm glad everyone is able to attend today. We have some important things to cover. First of all, I'd like to have approval of today's Fair Housing Hearing Board agenda. I approve the agenda. If someone would second the approval of today's agenda.
Motion to second.
Everybody agree, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Wanda?
I'm sorry, another screen had to find the button. Aye.
No problem, thank you. Approval of minutes from previous meeting. Is that the January minutes, Demetrius?
Yes, ma'am. So I provided the previous agenda because we didn't have one in time to post, so we're just using the regular template. I wasn't available during the last meeting, so this meeting's going to be a little awkward until we get everything right chill for the next one. Was anyone able to take the minutes during the last meeting by any chance? Or who's the secretary for the board?
Well, our secretary from the board previously was Anna Leah.
Okay.
Marquita, between Marquita and Deja, they pretty much would just kind of
Okay.
with everything. So we do need to add to the agenda at some point. We do need a secretary.
Yes, ma'am. We actually can do that right now because that's the person who's going to be in control of the agenda and the minutes and then the communication portion for your board. So identifying a secretary will be very important if we can go ahead and do that. If you just want to ask anyone, do they want to volunteer, or you can go old school and just appoint somebody.
Don't make me do that. Is there anyone that's currently on the board that have the capacity or willing to take the role of secretary for the Fair Housing Hearing Board meetings? Position going once, position going twice, position going 3 times. I'm finna go there. Eric, are you a good minute taker?
I can be in the future for us, but I'm not anywhere around the computer. I'm actually traveling right now.
Okay. Is that something that you would be open and willing to do for us?
Yeah, I've never done it before, but I can give the old college try.
It's it really isn't that formal. It's just kind of capturing the highlights of what we're doing and making sure that we capture any action items. And I can share with you some prior minutes and what they look like, but believe me, I'll capture everything this time. And also, Demetrius, while we're discussing this, since you record everything, is that something the secretary can get their hands on?
Oh, absolutely, because we turn around and post
Okay.
everything to YouTube. We post everything to YouTube right after this.
Oh, okay. All righty.
So all your meetings are being posted to YouTube, and we're working to embed it on your website as well. So individuals can go straight to your website and get access to the recording.
Perfect, because I'm legally deaf, so that will help out quite a bit. I lost my hearing in the Marine Corps.
Okay. Do you need, Eric, let's talk offline.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So Eric has agreed to fill the role of secretary for the Fair Housing Hearing Board. What do I need to do? Vote him in that role? Is someone second him in that position?
No, that's fine. You can just appoint him, and what you
I
do
can just
during
appoint him?
the next board meeting,
Okay,
position comes available, then you can just have someone like officially nominate for that position.
okay,
Um,
so do it at the next board meeting, okay.
To be completely transparent, Eric just said he's legally hearing impaired, so I don't know if that would be a good idea for Eric to take I think that might be a little bit more challenging.
Well, it's two things, and again, you said that it is recorded, so is there a way for people with disabilities or hearing impairment, are they able to, all right, are they able to go out and listen to our minutes?
They are, but I'm not sure how to turn on caption.
I see here that you have a statement saying assistance listening devices are available upon request. Okay, we'll have an off conversation on, we'll discuss it and see if that's the direction we need to go and if that's something that can be addressed or, yeah, okay, we'll see. It has to be something. So we never did, so for us, the approval of the previous minutes, which was we're showing for January 2021, those minutes have already been approved. So we will move forward with the agenda. Council liaison remarks.
I have a report. So, hey, everybody. It's been a while since I've been here, but thank you all for continuing to serve. During the transition period, I think all of you are aware that Marquita has transitioned away. She was your staff liaison, and also Deja has transitioned away. So you kind of stuck with me for a little while until we can find somebody to come on over. We're in the process of hiring for the position to oversee this board, to help with this board. So we are in the interview process as we speak. But until then, I will be serving in that capacity to the best of my abilities. So if you have any requests, please go through Ms. Sandra. Just email me, give me a little grace and mercy as it takes me a little while to respond. Just know I am working and we are understaffed. So I'm trying my best to respond in a timely manner to all requests and acquisitions. And then a couple of updates. Thank you all for all your help with Unity today. It went well. Both parts went well. We was able to help 3,250 individuals. The day of the event, we was able to physically hand out individual bags to 1,080 individuals who attended the drive-through, and the remaining 800, 900 bags were donated to Parks and Recs, and they was able to facilitate the distribution to those children who are constantly using the Parks and Rec facilities that are in greater need. And so thank you for all your help and recommendations with that. And that is currently the liaison update right now.
I did attend the drive-through giveaway. It ended up being well organized. We had a lot of volunteers to help keep everything going and moving relatively smooth. I went online and I did give a shout out to Southeast Raleigh High football players. Their coach, EJ, volunteered his football players' assistance to help us in any way possible. They help break down boxes and put in bins, and they help, pass things or put things in the trunk of those that came and to receive some of the items. There was a lot of food that was donated through the food shuttle. What's the name of the organization?
The Interfaith Food Shuttle.
The food shuttle. It was a lot, but it was a lot of fresh fruit and breads and it really was overwhelming when it all got delivered to the conference center where we were putting everything together. But it got done, it got set up, it got delivered. People was very appreciative. Everybody was upbeat. I think it has a lot to do with, how the personalities of people that's there. I kind of went through the line and passed out the information for the resource guide where people can go out and get information on the different resources that they may need, and just kind of kid around with people. And it was a good day. It was freezing cold early in the morning, let me tell you. I wanted to get in everybody's car. It was really cold, but again, in the end, I think it all went well. I wasn't around to participate in the giveaway to the shelters and things. I was unfortunately out of town, but it was a good day, and it got done, and it was a lot of work. It really was a lot of work. I think a lot of things was learned, kind of the to-dos and not to-dos, but that's life. Hopefully we all learn from decisions and things that we do from day to day. So anyway.
This is Wanda Gilbert Coker, and hopefully this will go in the notes. So whether we're here next year, someone else is here, or we can remember. I'm glad that the community was served, but I know for my part and others in the community, there was a lack of communication. I did not know about a lot of things that were going on in the last minute or after the fact. And I feel like the one thing that can most definitely be made better is the communication piece. I expected emails of when meetings were going to be. In fact, I didn't even know about the last part about giving out the badge, when that was going to take place, where it was going to take place, none of that. So I just feel like there needs to be a major communications increase in human relations and racial equity inclusion department down to all the boards, so we know exactly what is going on at all times, and hopefully in advance, whether we can participate or not. If we're active in the community, we have to get others active as well. But not knowing did not help the situation, and people were asking me. I had no clue. I had no idea. And I don't think that looks good on our part to say, I don't know. I don't have any idea. And when I did ask for clarity as such, Sandra reiterated that, yes, she did send an email and I received it. And I'm sure Colin did too, that we get the information because she was going to be out of town. But we did not. So I just want that to go on record so that those type of things can be repaired to help us serve the community in a greater way. So Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Note taken. I do follow to a certain extent. I do feel that this particular event, and I think we've had this discussion once, this particular event moved relatively quick. I think that a lot of decisions were made at a higher level. I think it started with us and the boards across the city, but this is my personal opinion, so it's on record. This is Sandra Collins, but I do feel like at some point it was removed from the boards who had agreed to participate and put funding in to be part of a Unity Day. And somewhere down the line, I do not work for the city. I'm a volunteer like everybody on this call. And I have a regular job like all of us on this call. So I don't have the capacity to like really fight some things or stay on top of some things. And the point I'm getting to, at some point, this project moved in levels above us. I think they moved in levels above Demetrius, and you can just figure out from there where it landed. So I think it was controlled by, I refer to upper management within my organization. I would say upper management. I don't know what you call. I would say upper management also when it comes to the city. So it aligns with what really happens no matter what company you're with when you're doing something and then someone comes in and take over. That's typically not those that are on the ground, or as Wanda does, she's footprinted in the community. And so you end up with no communication or miscommunication or dictation. So unless you're actually housing or you're doing your own thing, but you hopefully we'll have control of what it is that we, when we decide to go out on this route, that we won't be partnering with other people. Hopefully we'll have control over what we do. I'm just saying hopefully because it looks different. What the Fair Housing Hearing Board outreach and the things that we did in the community really looks different. And not only does it look different, it's channeled differently and it's controlled differently. So it'll be interesting to see how much we're able to do on our own without interference, or what's going on behind the scene. I just think that it's going to be a different look. And I just think that some of the things that we've been able to do without any hiccups or smoothly, we've been doing community events forever without any issues, but it'll be interesting to see how the political piece is going to affect the Fair Housing Hearing Board. So we will know sooner than later. I can tell you, I truly feel like it's going to be different. So we're going to have to stick together and try to make sure we accomplish what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And hopefully those that are in charge don't interfere, but I don't know. It's frustrating, but anyway. But so that was my spiel. Moving right along, Chairperson's report. I don't have the budget in front of me. I do know that, which is fine. I think the main thing that came out of our budget so far was the $12,000 that we put into the kitty for Unity Day. And Demetrius, the funds that are going to be paid to Tech Factory, excuse me, I'm going to assume that that's out of the fair housing budget also.
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually in the process of coordinating with the individual to make that payment as soon as possible.
Okay, all righty. So will you send us later when you get a chance, an updated budget report? Like once they come out and the other funds are removed, so we can see where we stand, so that we can know what we're working with for our community outreach as far as funds that we have to spend prior to.
I'll work on that today. That's something kind of quick. We got a standard template that I can throw together real quick.
Okay.
Just send it out to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. The main thing before I go forward, anybody has any comments or anything on what we're talking about so far? Because I'm gonna go straight into the conference. Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on there. We have locked down. Yeah, we have signed off on a contract for the media piece of our conference, and Demetrius has received the invoice and contract from Ricardo. Before Marquita left, she and I had interviewed and spoke with 3 different media companies. They all were pretty much offering the same thing. It was amazing, the cost, the difference in the cost. As you can see, the invoice I think I sent out was probably right around $9,000. He was about $10,000 less than everyone else. We're all in the wrong field, guys. It was amazing. The next cost was about 19,000, and I think one was a little over 20,000 for their services, and that's just for those few hours for our conference. But after talking with Ricardo, Marquita felt real comfortable with him, and so did I. And then Demetrius and Jeff and I spoke with him again. Last week or earlier this week. I don't even know what day it is anymore. And he answered some questions and some concerns or things that we wanted to make sure that we would receive during the conference. So I'll just give a quick little background and everything. It is a Zoom conference, which was the same as everyone was offering. That says more accessible for more people. It's going to be able to hold up to 500 people. On the invoice, you'll see a Zoom line item. It was because his organization only allows up to 300, so we had to pay for the additional 200 increase of 200 people, so we can have up to 500 people actually kind of log on to or for the webinar. They actually capture registration. There's a registration platform through Zoom, and so they actually capture the registrant's information when they go out and register. So what will happen, and Demetri, you can jump in if I'm saying something incorrectly. But when people register 24 hours prior to the actual event, everyone that registered will receive, they'll receive the information to actually log on to participate. So they, again, 24 hours before the event. So the event is on a Friday. On Thursday, everyone will receive their information to log on Friday. The moderators will receive 2 devices. They'll get a device for the green room and a device for the webinar itself. The moderators and the presenters will meet with Ricardo and do the testing and all the background stuff. So at some point, he will reach out to Colin and Wanda and the presenters and anyone that has a role as far as the agenda. I did send him a copy of the agenda so he can get an idea of what it is that the conference will look like, and so he can have an idea of what it is that we needed. I'm trying to see anything else that was really important. We talked about, there's an intro. We did pay for a intro that will start probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes prior to the conference itself. The intro will show like who our presenters are and our keynote speakers. It's an area for us to display our prior sponsors, because we said that we wanted to recognize sponsors of past years that have always supported us. So Colin, there's a graphic person that's assigned to us. And if you do not mind, I would like to connect you with the graphic person to help the look of what the intro should look like. They have all these examples of other conferences that they've done to kind of guide you as to what you may or what we may want to do. So it's what it would look like in the beginning. It's what it would look like during our breaks. It's what it will look like. The background will look like in the green room when the speakers are there. So,
Can you remind me what the theme of the conference is this year, or overall theme?
yeah, I wish I could. That's a good question. I mean, we have our agenda, but the actual, matter of fact. Flash break, detector.
Yeah, did we?
Go ahead, Wanda.
I'm sorry, Wanda Gilbert Coco via audio. So like we came up with a theme in the past, we need to come up with another one, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Now that you say that, Colin, I don't even recall.
Yeah, I was curious if we did one for last year and if we were gonna pull that over or not. Because that's what I was gonna try to base a lot of it off of. You know, thinking when we had the 50th anniversary one, for this I would have pushed a theme of a lot of historic pictures of you know, things that were related to fair housing, civil rights movement, stuff around that time. So whatever we have for the theme this time, I do that. And if we still want to take even just, you know, throw in some historic aspects of it, I can talk to the guy that runs the City of Raleigh Museum, Ernie Dollar, and see if I can pick up some stuff from him as well and see if we can get the graphics person to incorporate a bit of that. But if we do have a centralized theme, if we are going to go, say, with maybe how disability works in fair housing, I can try to think of something that incorporates that as well.
Is there something in our proclamation or in our last time we just pulled out a sentence from it.
We sure did. It worked.
Yeah. Is there something around race, like racial justice, and what in the same place? I'm on my phone, so I can't exactly right now.
I mean, there is something for the mission statement. It is a little weird to think we're just dedicated to stopping civil unrest in the city. I think that's one of the things we're supposed to do.
We don't even address it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we want to go with something like that, though, I mean that's obviously topical. I'm not sure if it incorporates some of our speakers, but we could include, some instances of civil unrest, say like marching, backgrounds with like people marching and stuff like that. Not obviously trying to fan any flames or do anything too crazy, but also include instances of that are relevant to the city of Raleigh's history.
Well, the conference that we're having that got postponed or canceled last time, had we created a theme? I was wondering, did it already exist? Like if we could find, Demetrius, you sent me the canceled announcement.
Yeah, I think it was around the anniversary theme or something like that we were doing.
So I know the last one we did was freedom from something about dignity and freedom from humiliation. There we go. Yeah, that was the previous one. I thought this one for the one that we canceled, we were going with more of a theme around disability and downtrodden, since we hadn't touched that in a while. And I know, Jeff, you were bringing that up as a relevant topic, as something that was brought up a lot, was disability and how that's handled in fair housing, which gave us one of our panels that was focused on that. And then we were looking at, I believe for one of the night panels, right, racial inequity. Let's see.
I'm looking at something that said postpone fair housing conference, building strong and inclusive communities for all. Was that
No, we did not come up with that.
Well, I'm just reading this that I found.
Yeah, I see it now. Just sent it to. I would have voted this down. No, we didn't come up with this.
Well, I mean, if we don't have the wheel, we might as well invent it, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I think we're better at it than this right here. Can it be something we email later on and vote on?
Yes, Demetrius, are we allowed to come up with a theme and vote on it and send it to you?
Yes, that's fine. If you just want to make a motion for an approved vote, just saying, hey, I move to approve the theme, pending provided. That way we can already have a vote written down. So for instance, if you think about it tomorrow and through email, everyone agreed upon it, there go your standing vote right there because it's already pre-voted.
Okay, before we do that, again, this is Wanda Gilbert Coker via audio. Who's on the phone, Jack or Jeff? Let me see.
Jeff.
Jeff, do you have any ideas?
I don't. I was trying to see, HUD always comes up with an annual theme, but they don't announce it until April, which is kind of late if you're trying to use it to promote things.
Yes.
And so I don't. I mean, I think the two main panels. One is dealing with disability, and one is dealing with criminal background. And so I think it would be, I would recommend trying to find something that sort of bridges both of those. And I don't, right on the spur of the moment, I don't have an example or a suggestion. I mean, I can think about it and try to email some ideas to Sandra. But I don't have anything right off the hand.
one thing I guess I could think about is aren't those kind of evolving fields in the fair housing effort? Disability, I know I think under the Trump administration, they were trying to kind of limit some stuff on the disability aspect around at least animals. And I know prior to that, the criminal background aspect under the Obama administration was something that they were looking into as being a protected class due to disparities of, I think HUD had a memo of disparities between race in criminal backgrounds. So we could look at something, tie this kind of to the future. This could be, the fields that are changing, the hot topic fields when it comes to fair housing.
Yeah. I mean, tying it to something that's new, I think is useful because, the criminal, as you mentioned, Colin, the criminal background part is a new area of fair housing law. And then in the disability panel, one of the speakers is talking about COVID in fair housing, which is obviously a new topic. And something, and I see Ms. Wanda mentioned race equity is an idea. And I think that I agree with that. I mean, I think that's really important.
I like, Colin, when you said the word protected class, for some reason that like really struck a chord with me, because it would cover, we can come up with but whether it's disability, criminal background, like we are trying to some kind of way, if we can incorporate, even with what Wanda said, with the protected class piece of it.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. So again, let's just think of stuff, because I'm going to use that. I'm going to draw on that very heavily for any requests for graphics and stuff like that. And obviously, I'll try to pull as much information or as many things as I can that are relevant to the city of Raleigh, and I'll work with the museum just to pull up some historic stuff, because why not? So that we can incorporate that into the theme. The theme being baked into the graphics.
Okay. All righty.
Hey, hey everybody. I have something just quick. How's everybody doing? Again, ask that.
We're doing good, Shalisa. Hope you are.
I am. Sorry. This is Shalisa Williams calling in via phone. I had to turn my camera off because I am nursing. I think that first off, did everybody get my email that I sent, board?
Yes.
Yep.
Anyone got a chance to look through it?
Some of it, I scanned through it.
Okay. So I think we can incorporate the analysis of impediments, the comparisons in the last two, 2015 and 2020 as well, because just in the regional of the findings, we know that members of the protected classes are more likely to have lower incomes, higher unemployment rates, higher poverty rates, limited housing choices, restricts access to community assets for members of the protected classes. So we definitely need to examine and incorporate that with our work, because as Sandra said, things are changing. We have to make sure that we are still advocating and making sure that we are making a difference in the community and what's going on around us in our communities, because that's the purpose of the board. That's my take on my feelings after really going through that and dissecting those two documents and understanding the gentrification that's going on and the things that's going on in these communities and the experiences people are having. We really have to do something about that. That's why I got on the board. And that is what I plan on continuing to do. I appreciate you, Colin, for putting the fire up under me to really finish, my duty of going through those documents. And we should really figure out something to do as a board on those things, and hold people accountable are government officials and things of that sort. So we have to do something about that.
Okay, so if we go kind of just running off and still going with the future aspect, if I can, I'll see what I can do about trying to bake in some of that information potentially into some of our transitions, something that's, obviously sleek, but does mention the analysis of impediment, what it is and what it points out, and some of the stagnation that we see with it. Or at least, try to avoid really, point out the stagnation, but point out the problems too. Because again, every time I've read an AI, it's pretty straightforward. It's like, hey, these communities have issue with transit. They have issue with, with their communities actually having a lot of money to it. It's pretty straightforward when it comes to pointing out the issues. Obviously, the hard part's addressing those. But I'll see what I can do about including that information too. So again, when it comes to talking about the transitions, the themes, what we're showing, avoid telling people, hey, this is what fair housing is, and kind of lecturing on that, but saying this is the issues that our community sees today and are well documented.
Right.
I think that
right.
Does that sound about right? We think that's a good approach. Again, trying to incorporate that graphics and stuff.
Right. Educate
their problem, but
right.
Yeah.
Educate the community of what's going on with the things around them, so they can actually know what's being affected and what the issues are. And
utilize reports generated by the city that clearly point out what the issue is, and we can see some of that stellar work come to fruition, right? So that's just I would like to see that done. I haven't really said much on the call today, but like I said, going through those documents and really understanding the stagnation is very, very disappointing. And then I look at the community and I look at the gentrification, and it's just something we have to do. And I've had talks with city officials, and they are aware, but we have to actually get some things to be changed. So we have to educate the community. We don't need any limitations on that, I don't think.
Okay.
I think I got a good idea.
Yeah. So circling back around, we will kind of come up. Do you all want to send me ideas regarding our theme, and once I receive them all, we can I'll just send it out to everyone. We can have I'm assuming we can have a conference call regarding this. Demetrius, is that allowed, since we're just I'm trying to keep from having a conversation via email or texting for something that's so important. Dr. Caesar, are we able to collect this information and then actually have a meeting to move to agree to one of the themes?
Yes. So your vote, you can have an email correspondence to vote, but if you want to have discussion, it's like subcommittee work. It doesn't count as an official meeting.
Okay. All righty. Okay. So do I have to say, so that's what we'll do. And again, Jeff, if you think of anything, I say let's put a deadline date on it. I think that when the announcement goes out, I think it's important that the theme is on that announcement. So I don't want that to be the thing to hold it all up. So Jeff and to the board, can we put our thoughts together and come up with something tomorrow? So we want to open a vote for the topic, which that something went away.
Yeah, Colin said, do we want to open Again, Wanda Gilbert Coco via audio. Colin put in the chat. We want to open a vote for the topic, which will we decide through future discussions, right? Meaning there needs to be a vote and a motion to approve that we have this.
Okay. So do we want to move to approve the discussion for a theme for the 2021 Fair Housing Conference to be discussed at a later date?
Yes, I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Shalisa Williams calling in via audio. Aye.
Okay. All not in favor? Okay, so that's what we'll do. So Jeff, I appreciate you. If you come up with anything, if you have time. So just send it to me, and guys, I'll shoot you guys. If we can come up with something by the midday tomorrow, the end of the day tomorrow, we'll move this to the top of our action list. Okay. So back to the conference, and Colin, thanks for bringing up about the theme. After looking at the agenda and stuff, I hadn't even realized. We probably would have realized at some point that we did not have a theme, but again, so I am excited again about, we have our media person, and thank you, Colin, for agreeing to be that source to work with them as far as the look of everything. And what else is there? Do anyone have any questions? Again, Shalisa, Wanda, Colin, you guys will be speaking with him one-on-one, and to walk you through how everything works, and how they're going to get any equipment or anything that you may need, how he's going to get that stuff to you. So I don't know all the inners and details, but Ricardo will reach out to you. And I'm also going to assume that we're going to have to meet again prior to our next meeting, just to make sure that for the conference, we're all on the same page, that we're all comfortable with how everything should run for the conference. Make sure that, we don't have any questions. And I want to make sure that everyone has Ricardo's contact information if you have any questions about your role or what you need to do. And I'll make sure that he has everybody's email and telephone numbers, if that's okay with you, so that he can reach out to you. So, and they're providing a service, so feel free to ask all the questions that you need to until you are comfortable with what it is that's required of you. So I'm a true believer, when you hire someone for a service, you can ask them as many questions as you want, because this is different for all of us. So, and the same thing with Jeff, I guess will you be the contact person regarding the panelists, or will I be giving him that information to reach out to the speakers?
He can reach out to me. I think I've spoken with all of the panelists, as well as Ms. Lisa Rice, who's the keynote. So he can reach out to me. The only thing I think just to remember, and I guess we'll have we can go over this with him when we're doing the tech run, is just that the moderators are really going to need to be careful about checking time for the speakers. In the past, usually we had one of our staff sitting up front holding up a sign that said sort of 5 minutes, 1 minute, and time. And just so that people don't, some speakers will talk as long as they, for a long time. And I understand that they have important things that they want to get out. But we just want to make sure that all the speakers get a chance to speak, and that the audience gets a chance to ask questions. And so we will need to sort of, have a way to communicate to the panelists that, okay, you have, 2 minutes, you need to start wrapping it up, and then be assertive about letting people know that we have to go to the next speaker.
This is Wanda Gilbert Coco via audio. Do you think it's possible that what's his name, Rico, or I'm sorry, Ricardo can provide something like that, like a timer or something that we see, similar to like when we do city council, something, there's a timer on another screen or
Okay.
Exactly. Put it in like the green room or something.
Yeah,
we can definitely do that, because since you'll kind of be in your own room and the speaker will be apparently in the green room. So I've written that down, and that's a good idea, Wanda. Okay. Any other questions? I don't know if I left out anything or not. Demetrius, did I leave out anything? Also, Colin, during the breaks, as you pull together this look that you want, okay, during the breaks are going to be another time to be able to display some things that you may want to appear. And one of the things that we said was at the beginning of the conference, looking at the agenda that I just pulled up. So we'll have an intro. Before we go into our first panel, we will make sure that the speakers name and whatever information, Colin, is going to be on you, whatever information should pop up with the speaker's name, that will appear before going into the very first session. And then after that is over, at the end will be the Q&A. And again, Wanda will be the person that's handling in that part. And then on the break, there's a 10-minute break. The only thing that we need to allow, Colin, outside of what it is that you come up with graphics, is they will then show the speakers that's for the second session. And there isn't a break between the second session and the awards. We're still doing an award for a green chair, and we're doing an award for Pastor Brickle. That didn't change from those that we had chosen before. And he made a comment, because I didn't know what that would look like. Like, how do you pull in or allow someone to respond that's receiving an award? And so he said it was a matter of, if they were on the conference, it was a matter of a click and drag. I don't know who's clicking and dragging. I'm assuming them. And, and it would say, for example, the representative of Green Chair, it would pull them in as the focus point. And so they would be allowed to say thank you, or whatever the case is. If Jeff is doing the award, or if I'm doing an award, or Chalisa, whoever is doing it, then as long as they know, which they will know, who the presenters and the receivers are, they'll bring them forward to present and or receive and or make a comment. I can't wait to do the test on this, because I've not done any of this stuff before.
Ms. Sandra, we're using Zoom right now. So what he mean by click and drag, for example, we hold all our meetings in webinar format. So everyone on here has a specific link to just click on and join. Because if you didn't, you'll have to join on the public side. And if you join on the public side, because I'm the host, I can go over and reassign you as a panelist. So that's what he means by click and drag.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Well, it sounds simple. It sounds simple. And also, as far as awards, we do need to order 2 awards. And does anyone on this call, whether it's Colin, Wanda, or Chalisa, recall, do we have a standard saying, or have we come up with what we actually present, or actually what we put on the awards that we're giving to people?
Maybe the Wanda Gilbert Coker via audio, the trophy shop that we always deal with, they may already have something, a mold or something that we use. I remember the last time that we were dealing with it, the shape of the tree had changed, and we had to pay because we were the first org to actually use the new tree. So we had to pay a different charge because we were using the new tree. But other than that, they may already have something, but I can't remember anything right now.
Okay, all right. Well, Demetrius, I guess I'll get with you. I'm gonna, just based on what Wanda just said, it sounds like we definitely use the same vendor for our awards.
Okay, so what I have to do, I have to figure out who that vendor is, but we have a couple of vendors we use within our office. So what I need is just, if someone can just give me like an example of what they would like and how many to order and the name and the wording, then I can take it from there with purchasing and all that stuff. I just need to know what you want to say, which type of award. Do you want the big plaque one? Do you want a glass one? Do you want the little triangle one? Like, just let me know. If you want to assign someone, I can just work with them, or Miss Sandra, I can just work with you to figure all that stuff out.
We could probably look at, I'm sure we pay for our own awards. So
yeah,
we can look at the invoice and see who we paid the last time.
Yeah, they're out on Creedmoor Road because I went and picked it up the last time.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
You talking about Creedmoor by Outback?
I don't remember Outback. I remember Harris Teeter being out there.
Yeah, it's by Outback on Creedmoor. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, all righty. So that's pretty much how everything is gonna look. The one thing I did not choose was because we had to pay for, like, if you wanted a special intro and if you wanted a special exit. So we're paying the $750 for the intro piece to allow time to, again, recognize our sponsors and whatever it is that look that we want. But I raised my hand I chose not to pay the same amount of money to close it out. I think that we can utilize that money for our outreach stuff that we need to do. I think once we have closing remarks from Legal Aid and from Chalisa, I think that's sufficient, unless anyone on the call think that we should do something else.
We can close it out with music. I mean, that's what many others do, just a song, just a part, like thank you. But that's a possibility.
Yeah, just close that out.
Probably have to find something royalty free, but I think we do good.
Colin, can you sing?
No. I'm dreading if I have to do any voiceover stuff too, as opposed to having text. I was just thinking about that. That's the last thing I want to do is have to listen to my own voice on the Zoom call.
Oh, and the last thing, and I don't know where we would utilize this, but Colin, one of the things they offer is animation. If you want to use that somewhere, that is also offered wherever that would go. I'm just throwing it out there. It was something I had written down, so
we'll see. I'll work with them. Definitely don't want to make it campy. Would like for it to be professional.
Anyway, just throwing out my notes. That's it. I will find out the time frame as to when he planned on reaching out to everyone. I will send him everyone's contact information, like wanted to say the telephone number and email addresses, and try to get a time frame as to exactly when he planned on reaching out, and I'll let you know what he says, and I'll make sure that you all have his contact information for any questions or anything. And again, I know we're gonna have to meet again for all of us to feel comfortable and to make sure that you know, that we're ready and that we're comfortable with this direction that we're going in. Any questions or anything else that anyone would like for me to pose or ask Rico? Or if you have a question, I may have asked it and may not have covered it or said anything. Is there anything out there? Wanda, Eric, Chalisa, Colin?
No, I don't have any. I have some on a sidebar. Also, can we have a meeting to discuss our work plan, or like our goals, or things that we're trying to do, so we can kind of brainstorm, since things have changed with COVID-19, how we can, you know, still have our foots on the ground and educate. I think that's an important piece, and I miss being with you all together, having programs and doing our outreach. So that's just my last take. I'm trying to go off of my notes that I came up with. I'm getting my life back, y'all. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Chalisa. I mean, there are other orgs out here and groups that are doing things also fair housing here in but I think it's an opportunity for us to also collab with some of these orgs that are in community on the ground doing the work, and something together to reach the people where they are.
Right.
So yeah, I would love to do some type of Zoom webinar or something with some of these community orgs that are actually doing the work in the community.
Right.
Because,
I agree. Get some people to come speak. We have some, you know, good things that's going on in the ground up as far as advocacy. So I would like to see that. I missed that part of getting together. So.
Well, and I understand, because that's the piece that I think was our strength and what we were good at. And so unfortunately, it's the piece that's missing. I mean, I know the conference is always a big thing, but you know, it's once a year. We've always been pretty good at pulling it together with the speakers, the theme, etc. Thank God, with the help of Jeff and Jack. So, but our day-to-day focus or our community outreach focus has, you know, it's lacking. We truly have not done what we were beginning to be so great at.
Yeah, and that's why I joined the board. So that's why we all joined the board. That's why we're all here. And you know, we can't lose sight of that important piece.
You know, and based on what
transition.
And you know, and I think we've mentioned this before.
Yeah, we have.
After the conference, you know, we've been silenced because of COVID, and so many, you know, mainly because of COVID for so long. I think the conference is a good starting point to continue to discuss things. You know, I always struggle with when you bring something to the forefront and you're having discussions, or you have a speaker, and then it just stops. But I think it's a good time to, when you talk about our work plan, to really start to like continue the motion. the conference is a perfect point of motion to continue to keep going. So with our work plan and then getting in front of city council, which is on our agenda, and you know, we have the funding to keep going, and there shouldn't be anything really to hold us back.
Yeah, once I get off work today, I'm going to review those notes that Shalisa sent over and try to bake that into that document I'm working on, the work plan and report document. One thing I guess I could bring up, I don't know how this is all playing out, especially being exiled out here to the desert, but could we potentially try to network with people on vaccine opportunities and advocate for getting individuals vaccinated, since that's really, you know, what's supposed to be helping us get free of the, you know, the shackles of not being able to work in the community. It's starting to dissipate now because of the prevalence of that and how people know how to utilize PPE and whatnot. So does anyone know if that's happening? Like, are there outreach organizations that are working on that or pushing, you know, hey, this is how you can get vaccinated? I know out here they're giving out codes to specific communities that are underrepresented to try to get them, you know, prioritized, you know, just due to early reports that it was definitely going to affluent communities more than going to specific communities that actually needed it.
Yeah, this is again wanted to give a Coker via audio. Yeah, I mean, I've been working with some groups getting the information out there. In fact, I mean, we've had some big the big events and stuff I posted on my page or some community pages, but yeah, definitely the work is being done to meet the underserved communities. They had a big vaccination event at some of the churches in the area. So yeah, I mean, even if it's to the point, I mean, because this is going to be a thing that goes on for a while, to the point maybe when it warms up, it's an opportunity to collaborate with one and, you know, pass out, you know, first aid kits or something with when they, you know, at the vaccination. I do know they're being very, you have to go through the volunteer process, and they want you already vaccinated when you out if you're going to volunteer as well. And you know, they don't want, you know, like, you know, some things they're not allowed to go on because of sterilization and such. But, you know, if there's a parking lot or such adjacent, like the one in Greensboro at the Four Seasons Mall in Greensboro Coliseum, they had an event on the outside before people even walked in and while people were in line. That way, those people, you know, it did not interfere with anything that was going on with the vaccination process. So they had DJ, music, food, all of that. So
are you noticing space being an issue? Because I could think we could try to see if we can secure, you know, a city venue or something like that to help out. Yeah. Maybe even like with an adjacent, maybe something adjacent to a vaccination site as well. And so individuals go and get vaccinated, and then we could hand out something, or, you know, organize some folks to hand out stuff. Obviously, we can't be administering vaccinations, so I'm just trying to think of what we can leverage to help out folks.
Right, like in Greensboro, like I was saying, even though in Four Seasons Mall in Greensboro Coliseum is a huge parking lot. So one parking lot was set off just for the events, and then the other parts were for parking. But it was like on the way for people as they walked in or their appointments and stuff. As long as it did not deter traffic and such, there, you know, of course it depended on the organizer, but those organizers were fine because the goal of that group were to get people out and to was outreach. And so it was actually Black Voters Matters that did it. And so, you know, if we want to work with them or some other org that's doing it, long as it's a large place like PNC, that's a big space, you know, with lots of opportunity. But, you know, some of these smaller places like churches and stuff, you know, unless it's like Martin Street or something with a big parking lot, you know.
Yeah. Demetrius, are you aware if the city is organizing efforts or working with the state on securing sites for large vaccination drives?
I'm looking at Dr. Caesar and she's saying, yes, they are. We are.
I received an email from the city of Raleigh for community vaccination sites are needed. And it said that churches, recreational centers, schools, and other local businesses are encouraged to become host vaccination sites in our area. So it gives like a link to fill out a form for us to do if we wanted to utilize some of the spaces. So I suppose we can come up with what we're going, and they have like a vaccination site request. I could forward it to you all if you
Yeah, so to provide some background on that came from our office, and we were looking to solicit sites and groups to do this. This is a partnership between Wake County. So Wake County and also Walgreens supplies us, the city, with the vaccines. So if we can get a clinic set up either at a church or a site, then we can run it. They supply the healthcare workers, PPE, and all of that. And all folks have to do is either bring an insurance card and fill out a form, and that's it. And if you don't have insurance, it doesn't cost anything to do it. So if that's something that this group wants to participate in, or partner with other groups to do, I can talk with our emergency management director who can let me know who's coming up. So if they have vaccine clinics that are coming up, or if you guys want to do your own, then there's going to be some parameters in terms of what you would need to set that up and to actually get it operational. I don't know if they're still accepting sites. I would imagine they are, because there's still a lot of people that haven't gotten vaccinated yet. But y'all could do that if you really wanted to.
Yeah, Brickell's got a big spot, and he knows a lot of churches in the area. He's kind of a traveling preacher, it seems like. But the main one that he works out of, that at least I've been to, small parking lot, but absolutely giant venue. We've worked with St. Augustine's before. Maybe we could convince them, see if they'd be willing to do it. Again, I'm not sure about their parking situation, but they do have big venues that we've operated out of. So, I mean, it's, yeah, again, we don't want to stretch ourselves too thin. We're not trying to do too much, but if we can connect folks with that and facilitate whatever we need to do to get those sites established, whatever it takes, we can try to help out.
Okay, great discussion. But Colin, as you can see, there is a lot going on here in the city as far as pushing and promoting for people in general, no matter where you live, to be able to go out and get vaccinated. Every time I see a list, if I can capture it on just the news, because they'll throw up a whole list. I mean, that's somebody else you can reach out to. It's like the WRAL or whatever. They know, because that's another way that everybody promotes it. So I usually kind of like pause my television, take a picture, and I'll shoot stuff out on Facebook as much as possible, just to everyone, not just my friends. But it is a lot going on, and if we want to, we may be able to reach out to like a WakeMed or like you say, Walgreens and some of these other sites, and like partner with them, or find a way to encourage people to come out. Things always go smoother when you can just partner and do your piece if someone else is already doing the other piece. It can be sometimes overwhelming. There's only 5 of us on the board. It can be overwhelming to try to do everything, but it just goes so much smoother when we can find out who has something going on. It's enough of us. Wanda probably hears stuff, like I say, WRAL, there's probably resources we can call to see where are some areas that's coming up soon for vaccines. And if we want to do something, we can see how we can fit in, whether it's on the same grounds. If you go out to somewhere like PNC, we may or may not be touching some of the people that we want to touch. I don't know. PNC is out of the way for me, and I got a car.
Oh.
but there's got to be places here in our communities that, but anyway.
Well,
Yeah, if we can facilitate like popping up sites in 601, I think that,
Yeah,
that'd be great, right? So I mean, if we have connections there, get them the forms, help them with the forms, and let them kind of handle that, right?
yeah, we can
do whatever we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
I would like to also add that, they are still doing testing as well. And I know many of the parks and recs are set up. In fact, over here where I live at Anderson Point, they have one at the park over here in the parking lot just for testing. So, that's still a real big thing to get tested because, it's taking so long for the vaccination. So that might be an option as well. To participate at a testing site.
That's true, Wanda. And there are some places, like you say, that are testing sites that are ongoing. Over here off of Skycrest, and I've not driven to see where it's taking me, but if I'm going down Skycrest, it's a testing site. If I turn off Skycrest, make a right. I don't know what's, huh?
It might be Marsh Creek Park. I don't know.
It may be, but it's an ongoing testing site, and people, for different reasons, I've had to have seem like 5 tests here recently. My daughter leave for Italy Friday, and she just went yesterday. She had to do it. So people are still needing to get tested for so many different reasons. So again, one side of it is to encourage people to get vaccinated. Like that's really, really, really big. So I can understand that being our main focus. But again, even to go to testing sites and still convince people to get vaccinated and or help them to complete something.
Cut out, Sandra.
Oh.
Did we lose Sandra?
I'm here.
No, you're still here, but
I still got her. Yeah.
Your voice cut out.
But again, encouraging people to come out and get vaccinated. If we decide to do a community outreach giveaway at some of those sites, that's a way of getting people there. And the other side of it is, as far as the testing site, Wanda, if we can go and do giveaways at these testing sites, and as they get tested, also try to convince them to get vaccinated. I think there's still a large percentage of people that's kind of on the fence about it. So
yeah, and if we can leverage community resources again, like the Brickles and maybe individuals that are representatives from places that people trust, maybe the colleges, like maybe we can see if Shaw staff wants to help out with that or something like that. We know folks, so that I'd rather have them do it. I doubt people are going to listen too much to me saying get vaccinated, but if we can get someone that they trust out of these communities, then I think that's going to be a slam dunk.
Yeah, there's a huge giveaway coming up, and maybe just for Easter weekend with Brickle. I had North State Bank to donate $1,000 to his what it is that he's trying to do, but he's going to touch a whole bunch of people. So again, we really are aware of people that pull a lot of people together that we can find a way to kind of insert ourselves. So that's what we do. We've been good at it in the past, and we need to get back on. I think we can, circle back around and start doing what we do best again. So Colin, you're working on our work plan?
Yep, I'll look over that tonight.
Okay, all righty.
Colin, you can reach out to me if you would like to discuss anything as far as the work plan as well with the notes I sent, or if you want to, we can narrow it down. If you need any help, you can reach out to me. Cool,
thanks. Yeah, I'll send out something to everyone. once I've gotten a little bit of write up and just ask what direction we're trying to point out. I'll probably give out something broad and not really make any pointed recommendations, unless there's anything that's extremely glaring.
Extremely glaring. Well, it's 1:56. So, Dr. Caesar, thank you for joining us. Is there anything going on that you need to share with us, or?
Yeah, and you guys may already know this. Counselor Branch has put out a number of requests in terms of housing. One is to add additional seats. And then the second one is to add a seat specifically for renters. What he's asked us to do as staff is to come back with some recommendations. And I mean, what I'd like to hear from you all, if you have a chance, if you could send me an email at any point during this week or next week, just any thoughts on adding the seats and the type of seats, and do we need to specify what type of seat? Because right now they want to create a seat that is specifically for renters.
What do you mean? I'm sorry, Dr. Caesar. Can you, what do you mean? What does he mean by renters? Like, if you look at the board, except, I don't know everybody's situation, but I know Chalisa is a renter and I know Wanda's a renter. Is there something in particular that he's looking for?
Yeah. So they're wanting to specify, and I don't know if it's necessary to do that, but they want to specify a specific seat for a renter versus a homeowner because it fits in with some of the work that they've been doing around outreach specifically to renters.
I'll click on that seat.
And that's Counselor Branch has laid out. So if you have, like I said, comments about that, just let me know, because they're going to ask me to put together a proposal. And so I'll make a recommendation based upon your feedback and kind of where council is wanting to go with it. So.
This on the Gilbert Coker via audio. I think before they start reaching out, I just think they need to acknowledge who they already have on the board before they start reaching out. And once they determine what's already on the board, then maybe you can start reaching out, because he's assuming we already have 3 renters on the board. I don't get that. And if he was in touch with what was going on, as Chalisa knows, I know he knows she's a renter. He must
knows that. He definitely knows that.
So I think what he's trying to do is make sure that in the future, when the board seats change, there is still a renter on there. So there's a few of the boards I've seen around here in Albuquerque, they have specific things where this person has to be from this neighborhood, and we have to have at least one seat filled by someone that's in a neighborhood that's been identified as one in the need of affordable housing. So I think he's just trying to make something binding for the city in the future. Not necessarily trying to pack it with renters. It makes more sense now that.
But if it's appointed, they could pretty much put whoever, appoint who they want if it's an appointed position. The appointed seats. Now I've been to the Raleigh Housing Authority board meeting, and it was horrible. And from my understanding, those people are appointed, or they have they have seats appointed from the county and other places, but they're not doing, the work isn't getting done. There's no advocacy for the people who are recipients of the program that board is supposed to represent. And I've spoke to Nicole Stewart about it, because she reached out to me regarding renters and how they could basically reach out to those different renters and different people in the community that are not or who being affected by gentrification, different things like that. And she never got back to me, but they saying they're doing work around renters, and I'm a renter and I haven't received anything. Everyone's aware I'm a renter. The council know. I've only been trying to get a house. I've got on the board because I'm advocating for fairness and what we need to do. And I believe that everyone's aware of that. So I think that is creating another barrier. It's wasting time of the work that could be done. And it's a distraction.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Shalisa, I think those are the comments that I can take back. One of the things I will say is the current composition of the board already includes renters. And, I'll give them the option, as Colin said, to just, maybe that's a question we ask on the application, and maybe they come up with a composition that they feel is appropriate. But we need to at least tell them. And, you would hope that they would know that you are already a renter, but they may not, or they may not be thinking about it. And in terms of tasking us with, I haven't heard anything from council about tasking us with anything around renters or the work around renters. So all of those are comments and things that we need to take forth to council. So if you have anything, just shoot me an email so I can add it in there.
Do Corey supposed to come to our meetings? I remember he used to come to meetings. What happened with that? As far, I mean, isn't he our community, our liaison?
Yeah, he's your council liaison.
Yeah, we can you please take that back as well, or I can send you an email.
Yeah, council liaison should be attending.
Right. So because we will have the rapport and the relationship, and we will have the understanding of what's going on in our communities, because that's why we're here. We're volunteers. So
yes, thank you for that. I'll take that back.
This is one to Gilbert Coker via audio, and everything that Shalita said, I agree. And one of the things I feel that's missing from many of these boards is they can appoint people with titles all day, every day. But if they're not actually doing the work in the community or involved in the community, what's going on, they're missing the mark. So putting someone on the board that meet a specific parameter or whatever it is they're trying to meet, and they're not actually doing the work in the community. I've seen 6 appointments in the past meetings. Nobody's out, none of them are out here doing the work in the community. In fact, I've never heard of them. And if I haven't heard of them, more than likely the community hasn't heard of them because I've asked. So maybe what needs to be as a test if they're actually doing work in the community instead of what their titles are. Titles can be misconceiving. So that's what is missing. And I'm not talking of course of this board, but other boards. And then also the racial equity piece. They look for other community members, but not many of them have Black people or Black LGBTQ people who are actually doing the work in the community. And that's a disservice to the community and the taxpayers that we got people sitting up on these boards that don't do jack nothing.
Yeah, Wanda, that's a great point. One of the things we did with Hispanic and Immigrant Affairs is we actually put that on the application. So now you have an application to apply and you have to demonstrate what you're doing in the community for reasons that you just said. People are getting on and they're not doing anything. They don't have any connections to the community. So
that's an application for the Fair Housing Hearing Board. I don't know if it's still being utilized, but she said no. But even outside of that, it really would be nice to see someone on the Fair Housing Board that was part of a nonprofit that can really assist us with really what's going on. I'm gonna make this up. Let's say someone from one of the shelters or someone from the organization that help place people in, help with living conditions, or there's got to be a way for us to determine of the nonprofits, which of these organizations would benefit us maybe to have someone on this board that kind of have their foot on the ground and can kind of tell us what's going on.
I work with a few nonprofits in the community.
I
work with Pardon by Christ, which we work with the guys in the transition houses as they're coming out of prison. Then I'm also with the Courage Foundation, which works with vets. And then I'm a little inactive now, but I was for years a board member at D3 up in Durham, working with at-risk youth. So if any of those organizations can lend any insights into what you guys are talking about, I can make some connections or have some conversation.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation, Sandra. I'm writing that down too. So if they look at composition, maybe they create a seat for a nonprofit, or again, going back to Hispanic and Immigrant Affairs, they have a community track and a professional track, so you get a good mix of both. So maybe that's something we could consider. But this is great. Me these ideas. I apologize. I'm late for. I have a 2 o'clock. I'm a little late for, but I wanted to hear your responses so I can start taking them down. So please send me anything that you have or ideas that you have in terms of what you want to see. Because if they're going to make changes, then we want the changes to come from you guys to council versus the other way around. So anything you can think of, please email me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. But this is Gilbert Coker, and while this is still recording, I would like to continue on audio to say that we need to be really careful with some of these nonprofits. Now, some of these nonprofits collect money and do not touch the people on the ground who need it most. And we saw that during COVID. There are people who still are homeless and still in shelters and still were not able to access the funding and resources that the federal government gave and the state government gave through these nonprofits, because they're only there in place to collect checks, and they do not have relationships and do not touch the people. And when I say the people, I'm talking about the disenfranchised, most marginalized in the 27610 area code, with the area code where it's most definitely disproportionately, I can't even say the word, franchise more than any of the other zip codes. Now, they might be doing something in 27612. That's one thing. But if we're really trying to meet the people where they are and the ones who need it the most, we need to look at that, because that's what the Fair Housing Board is supposed to be about, protecting those people. So I just want us to be real leery about some of these nonprofits. They're just there in name only, but ask the people what do they do, and when they do, they show up. No.
One, I think that would be the advantage of us if we are allowed, as Dr. Caesar just stated, if we are allowed to give suggestions, and if you or me or if anyone is aware of, just, you know who they are, you know who's helping people, you probably have a very good idea as to who would align and do well with the Fair Housing Hearing Board, because some of us are going to roll off. I mean, I don't have long and Colin don't have long. So you're going to have 2 more openings. So you want to, if they're going to add 2 seats, you want it to be worthwhile. And because eventually those of us that's having these discussions now, we won't be around. We'll be around. Some of us will always be around and have our being in the community and have our feet on the ground, but we won't have a voice this way, the way that we have a voice now. So again, I know Colin and I think of the next 2 to roll off, but if there's anyone that we know of, whether it's an individual that's working hard in the community, or whether it's a nonprofit that can bring something to and I'm saying nonprofit, I'm not talking about American Red Cross. I'm talking about these organizations that are in the community that's helping people in the community, that would help us with a voice and help us get in front of city council with facts, et cetera, et cetera. So if we don't want Corey Branch and whoever to move forward and bring in who they want, we need to put something together and give to Dr. Caesar. And if it doesn't work out that way, we know that that's a statement in itself, if they don't do anything that we recommend.
Well, one last thing, because I know it's after 2 o'clock. I just want to go on record. Wanda Gilbert Coker via audio again, and you just may kind of led into that point, Sandra. These last appointments that they've been doing, they have not, regardless of what some of the boards have been saying they need or want, they have been appointing who they want according to who they feel should meet a criteria for them. So you can look at the last appointments and see that. They did that the people they're appointing don't even meet up with the work that's being done by that particular organization. But it was like it's a voter. It's someone who has their back and will agree with any and everything they say. That's who they're appointing. So we can do that. And yes, we can hold them accountable. That's a great thing. But I just want you to be aware that even though that has been done, we can look at the past appointments, and there's one particular board that's going through hell right now because of it. They appoint who they want, the yes people, and not the people that are actually out here helping the community and have the best interests for the community. So y'all have a good day. I just wanted to say.
We just need to think about what we can, what criteria can we have? I mean, we've got nonprofit people on here, like what would be useful to us? I think an attorney would help. Maybe from specific zip codes, but that's always, something that they can, cherry pick someone that they like from there. Try to think of those more robust ideas that could help force council to have diversity. If we have a green council member that comes on and they want to put it, as you're saying, like a yes man, what can we do to potentially have a seat that's guaranteed to be a safe seat for our mission? Try to think about stuff like that and how we can do that. And of course, non-invasive tests that they can have as well. Unfortunately, I don't think that you can, a CV or a resume is going to be probably going to be inflated, like you said. So what can we do to do that, or at least provide tools to the board that are always useful? So, sorry. That's it.
Nope. I'm taking notes in my mind so I can respond to all the questions. I know it's over time, so I'm going to be really quick. So Colin, great point to the resume, but we are asking individuals for the Hispanic Immigrant Affairs Board. We did collect resumes and cover letters. So that's one thing, you can look at. Also, I would say, Ms. Sandra, to the nonprofit comment, I would say make it explicit to say, hey, we're looking for nonprofits who provide a direct service to the community around fair housing. So I would say specifically say, provide direct services, not like a nonprofit that just gives out money or whatever the case may be, but specifically say provides direct services. That way
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, someone that
eliminate the middle person. You know what I mean? Because like Ms. Wanda said, I'm in contact, I'm in direct contact with you because you're utilizing our services. But it is 13 minutes past the.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to keep talking, but yes.
Thank you guys. I don't know. This meeting once a month. We're gonna have. Is this thing still recording? Oh, okay. Well, thank you all for. No, thank everybody for coming on and Ms. Torres, thank you so much. We'll probably be reaching out to you. I had some ideas in my head, and so we'll definitely be reaching out to you moving forward for some community outreach efforts, because I think it's important that we also kind of start to try to focus on the Hispanic community. So if we have a committee already put together, and maybe you all can help us touch that area. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited about what's about to happen. I'm excited about our conference that we're finally going to be able to have, and I'm excited about the motion, and hopefully we keep going. I think we're having great conversation. It reminds me of the good old days. It's been almost a year since we've had these kind of dialogues and whatever, and so thank you guys. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.